All right, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack the decades-long mystery surrounding UFOs using the absolute latest declassified intelligence. You know, for decades, we've all been completely captivated by the idea of unidentified flying objects. But what if the truth isn't out there in the stars at all? What if it's actually right here on Earth? That is the ultimate question we're tackling today, right? Are we being watched by extraterrestrials, or is it just our own highly classified tech? We're moving way past the science fiction here. Instead, we're looking strictly at the hard, documented facts that have been brought to light by recently declassified files and official government investigations. Let's get into it. Now, what is truly baffling about these reports is who they're coming from. We're talking federal agents, military personnel, and the things they're describing seem to literally defy the basic laws of physics. Take 2023, for instance. Federal agents reported seeing a glowing orange orb that acted kind of like a mothership, actually launching smaller red spheres. Wild, right? Then we've got infrared footage out of Greece showing an object pulling 90-degree turns at 80 miles per hour. I mean, movements like that would completely rip a standard aircraft apart. Oh, and there was even a metallic ellipsoid, roughly 150 feet long, spotted recently. Just incredible stuff. But here's the thing, this isn't exactly a new phenomenon. From 1947 all the way up to 2024, thousands of sightings have been reported globally. It all kind of kicked off with a famous Roswell incident, pushed right through the Cold War, and has continued with recent sightings in places like Iraq, Syria, and Japan. It even reached space. Get this, during the 1965 Gemini spaceflight, astronaut Frank Borman famously radioed Houston to report a bogey at 10 o'clock. He actually used earthly military slang for an unidentified aircraft while literally floating in orbit. So when you actually take a step back and map all these dots geographically, an interesting pattern emerges. We're talking Cold War hotspots near the Soviet border, to modern arenas like Iraq, Syria, and the Strait of Hormuz. It's a very earthly geopolitical pattern. And honestly, it really begs the question, why in the world would interstellar travelers exclusively focus their attention on areas of intense US military activity and sophisticated surveillance? Think about what that actually implies for our airspace and global security. And this is where the reality check hits hard. We constantly hear about these quote-unquote impossible treats, right? The 90-degree turns, the hovering, the launching of mini orbs. But when you hold those specific traits up against the documented capabilities of modern Earth technology, well, they perfectly match highly classified, high-altitude spy balloons and advanced drone motherships. To really understand how this kind of confusion starts, just look at the famous 1947 Roswell incident. I mean, it's basically the crown jewel of UFO lore, right? But guess what? It wasn't a flying saucer at all. It was actually Project Mogul. This was a highly classified US military program that used high-altitude balloons equipped to monitor Soviet nuclear tests. So when one of these balloons crashed, it inadvertently sparked the whole Roswell hysteria. And the kicker? The government was totally happy to let people believe it was an alien spacecraft. Why? Because it perfectly protected their top-secret intelligence-gathering methods. So when we break down the most recent sightings side by side with modern engineering, that whole extraterrestrial theory quickly gives way to the gritty reality of foreign espionage and advanced drone warfare. It is genuinely wild what we are building these days. Remember that orange orb launching smaller red orbs? Yeah, that perfectly aligns with documented Chinese mothership drones that are capable of releasing 100 microdrones all at once. And what about that football-shaped object with projections seen near Japan? That strongly resembles high-altitude foreign spy balloons, literally just like the one famously shot down over the US back in 2023. Now, you might be wondering, but what about the sightings in space? Well, even the astronauts themselves, the people actually up there looking out the window, had totally grounded, natural explanations for those eerie flashes. Neil Armstrong himself suggested that light flashes could just be sunlight leaking through the spacecraft window covers. Buzz Aldrin theorized that strange lights could be sun reflections bouncing off smooth lakes back down on Earth. As for the rest, we're looking at disconnected rocket boosters, everyday space debris, or even just unidentified atomic particles and radiation reacting with the spacecraft itself. Still, we do have to acknowledge a pretty big statistic here. Out of more than 12,000 cases investigated during the US military's Project Blue Book between 1952 and 1969, one specific number really stands out: 701. 701 cases officially remained completely unidentified. But hey, it is absolutely vital to remember what that word actually means in this context. In science, an unidentified status usually just points to a lack of high-quality data. It is not definitive proof of an extraterrestrial presence. Look, just because a blurry, low-quality infrared video of a tiny dot darting across the screen is unexplained, it doesn't automatically mean it's a ship from Alpha Centauri. It really just means we don't have enough data to identify the earthly object it almost certainly is. So to finally cut through decades of noise and actually provide some rigorous scientific analysis, the Defense Department created ARO in 2022. That's the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Their mandate was huge: investigate claims stretching all the way back to 1945.
And this massive effort led to a highly anticipated, comprehensive scientific verdict that was just published in February 2024.
And what did they find? Well, when you look at the official findings from both ARO and NASA, they conclusively found zero evidence of extraterrestrial origins. None. The public myth says the government is busy reverse engineering alien tech, but the reality? Zero proof of it. The myth says UFOs are spaceships, but the official finding confirms that the vast majority of these sightings are just weather balloons, spy planes, and satellites. And what about the alien bodies everyone talks about? Well, the report confirms that those early cover-ups were actually hiding classified military tests that used test dummies. Dummies that people simply mistook for aliens from a distance.
So it really all comes back to what the brilliant astronomer Carl Sagan famously said: extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Believing that interstellar visitors are navigating across entire galaxies just to hover over a US military base? Well, that requires absolutely undeniable proof. And right now, as we've explored in this explainer, the earthly evidence pointing to classified military tech and foreign espionage is just far, far stronger. So you gotta ask yourself, why does the government sometimes just sit back and let these alien rumors swirl? Well, honestly, because allowing the public to chase ghosts is incredibly useful for them. Think about it from a national defense perspective. It provides the absolute perfect cover to test next-generation secret stealth aircraft. It distracts from and completely protects real international espionage operations. And occasionally, releasing a few files without any proper context just fuels public speculation and acts as a seriously brilliant political distraction. And all of this leaves us with a truly fascinating reality to ponder. If the real mystery isn't little green men from Mars, but rather highly classified, cutting-edge human engineering, what kind of earthly technology are they building next? We might not be watched by aliens, folks, but make no mistake about it, we are absolutely being watched.